Hey folks, Chris McLean back with yet another episode of the show, and my guests, plural in the studio today, are Kate, Elisha, and Katrina from 3P's Marketing, and they are three business buddies, business besties even, who identify awesome entrepreneurs and help them go from surviving to thriving through, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but through un-pea-lievable marketing, sales, and design. We love a good pun. They love seeing businesses succeed, and 3Ps want to help people reach their markets with their amazing products and services. Marketing is their superpower. They love it and they're good at it, and they want to use that superpower for good whilst working with their besties, having fun and creating memories. Ladies, to continue with the puns, we've got 3Ps in a podcast.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having us.
You nailed thank you for dropping by.
The way.
Yeah. Yes. Well, you got yeah. I love a good pun. I was working on that 3Ps in a pod for about an hour, so hopefully that will go.
Yeah, love it. Thank you.
So give us the lowdown on 3Ps. How did this all come about? Were the three of you besties before this, or has this been sort of a business bestie journey? Take us through the whole shebang and your individual stories, your group story. How did this all come about?
Well, I'll kick off. My name's Kate, and this is Elisha and Katrina. We were friends before we started the business. So we first met on our school P&C. My two sons were at the primary school together, and I was on the P&C there. Katrina's sons joined the school, and they came into the community. And Katrina and her husband joined the P&C as well. And we got to know each other through the P&C committee. And pretty quickly, we were instant friends and created a really great friendship. And I'd been advocating for a while because the P&C committee managed the businesses of the P&C, which were turning over $1 million a year. So essentially volunteers running businesses whilst having their kids in the school is never a really great mix. So I advocated for an operations manager and was finally approved by the committee to advertise for an operations manager, and we hired Elisha. Mm-hmm. So we kind of only just knew Elisha prior to her applying for the position, but she was serving on a P&C as a volunteer at another school, so had great P&C background, but also had amazing business background. So her skills and her background and experience really sold her and matched the job. And together the three of us, as well as the other executive members, worked on the businesses together and managed the businesses together. And we just worked really well together. It was hard slog. We went through amazing highs, but also lots of lows and obstacles as well, and supported each other really well.
I think that's when you really get to know somebody in the challenging times. So we knew that we worked really well together.
Yeah.
On the battlefield.
Absolutely. But even though we worked really hard and we worked really well, we always had this element of celebrating the wins and, kind of learning from the losses.
And having fun along the way.
And having lots of fun along the way. We're very optimistic. We're very resourceful people. Yeah. We just roll up our sleeves and get in and get it done. And fast forward, we'd sort of left the P&C at different times to go and pursue other things and other jobs. And fast forward to January this year, I was working as a business development manager for another company and doing lots of networking and lots of meeting small businesses and talking about marketing. And I was fortunate to work for a medium to large size business, and kept hearing over and over again all these small businesses that were really struggling with their marketing. They would have a database, but they wouldn't be communicating to their database. They, wanted to do social media content and marketing, but just didn't have the time, or they were a bit baffled by what they should be posting and understanding what was important to be on their social media. So I was just hearing this over and over again, and things were starting to change in my organization, and, COVID and situations sort of the one department that always takes the hit first is sales and marketing. So my role was starting to change towards a role that I wasn't really loving. And now that I'm in my 40s, I kind of want to do what I love. And I just said, why don't we do this for ourselves? And I first mentioned it to Elisha because we were at the same networking event together. And she was instantly, yep, let's do it. Sounds amazing. And I said, well, what about Katrina? We each have complementary skills, which we'll talk about our skills and our experience later. And I knew that the three of us together would have a great range of skills to combine. But also, too, we didn't want to leave Katrina out because we're all really good friends.
So she has really bad FOMO. And they'd always send me photos of them lunching together. I'd be like, stop it.
Yeah. So at that particular function, she's like, damn it, why aren't I there? And I'm like, well, I think this could be a thing that we could do together.
It was a 3 to 5 year plan, let's just say.
Yes.
Kate's idea. And it turned into a 3-day plan. So
I am quite conservative. So I did raise it with them and I said, how about we work on this as our 3 to 5 year strategy of, we'll quit our jobs and we'll be in this business full time in 3 to 5 years.
And we just went,
So
that plan.
That was in January this year. We spent January to May planning the business. So doing all of the business plans, the pricing packages, the sales and marketing plan, all of the company structure, the legals, the accounting, the bank accounts, all that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. We did it right because I'm Miss Conservative. And these guys are like, I'm glad.
Responsible pig is what we call it.
Yeah. They were really glad that I was sort of leading that and we were working on that together. Yeah. So,
and it did make a difference now having all that structure. Whereas if it was just us, we would have just done everything.
Yep.
But having that really
like we said, we have our strengths.
Yeah. Yeah. So we incorporated on the 11th of May, and I think in a couple of days we'll be 6 months old. And yeah, pretty much.
Happy half birthday.
Thank you. Been amazing.
Yeah. So pretty much these guys sort of each started to go part-time in the business while winding back their roles part-time with their organizations. And within a few weeks, they were both full-time. So that would have been by the end of May, they were pretty much full-time. Elisha definitely was full-time and Katrina was early June. Yeah. And then myself, mid-June, I was full-time in the business. So my 3 to 5 year plan was kind of completely exploded.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of the fact that we've been in this business now 6 months and we've paid ourselves a salary or, a wage every week. We're really fortunate to take advantage of the Queensland government grants, which gave small businesses $5,000 towards their marketing. And these guys spent a lot of time giving their services for free to help businesses apply for the grant. They were all successful. So that was 20 businesses we helped. 20 businesses came to us with $5,000 to spend from the government, which we've been able to deliver, and we're still working through that. But aside from those 20 clients, we'd already started to create traction with our own network of friends and family and business contacts. So we already had, about 10 clients by that time. Then we went to 20 and we've just continued to grow our client base to now being over 40 clients. I think we're up to 43.
43, yeah.
Yeah, 43 clients.
44, one came in yesterday.
Oh, okay. 44 clients.
Ring the bell.
Yeah, we do. We need a bell. So, it's been amazing.
Yeah, it's been amazing. And we've hired staff.
Yep.
We've gone from a lounge room home office to office spaces. And we kind of pinch ourselves that we've had such success so quickly. And we have stuck to our values, where we have a lot of fun, but we're extremely hardworking. We're very resourceful. And we just
hang out with each other every day.
Yeah.
No FOMO.
Yeah, no FOMO.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you set it up the right way, right? That doing all of that, spending January to March, almost 6 months kind of planning, right? And getting that stuff down. And a lot of agency owners do it the opposite way and just kind of jump in and build the plane while they're flying it, which does work. That can work. But to see that very quick growth, and turn a 5-year plan into a 3-month plan. So
Exactly.
success like speed, as they like to say. So it's obviously
Yes.
been, having done that work at the front end has obviously worked out really well for you.
Yeah, and there was a lot of things that we had to put together once we got started. A lot of our systems and processes sort of had to come together organically and
and we're still creating. I mean, it's a work in
Absolutely.
progress. But,
Yeah.
But we do have what we call the P success formula, the PEA, which is plan, then execute, and then analyze. And so for us, it was really important to kind of walk the walk, if that's what we're going to be encouraging others to be doing, that we do the same thing. And we literally, the planning process that we go through with our clients is exactly the same process that we went through. So we know it works, and we know how to kind of put that together for success. So
yeah, it's awesome to have your own protocols and actually run your own process and know that it works, because it gives you that insight to like where it might trip people up, kind of what are because you've had the problems going through it, you sort of ironed out that process, and now you know from start to finish that it works, right? Because you're living proof of your own process. And that's another thing that can get missed, is actually running a process. You can design this super fancy thing and then not actually do it yourself, and you sort of get that disconnect between actually understanding the details of the process and really genuinely being able to help someone over the hurdles of a process. So
And going back to that plan as well and actually developing it, like we actually sit down and spend a weekend reanalyzing our plan every 3 months and reviewing our goals. What did we hit? What didn't we hit? How have things changed? What do we need to update? So the plan that we created didn't just become a doorstop. Do you know what I mean? It's something that we constantly review and work on and use to guide our future. And it's really, I mean, it's great to take that time, make the time to actually work on your business. We highly advocate for that.
Yeah, it's a massive performance and efficiency boost, is that separation of strategy and execution. Again, another major thing that you've sort of baked into the natural DNA of how you operate. And I'd like to get into your previous existence, sort of where you came from, because it sounds like a lot of this was quite native and natural for you. But that separation of strategy and execution is something, again, that can trip people up, where you're trying to do strategy and execution together. You're thinking about the thing and doing the planning and then executing the thing all in one thing, and that a lot of people just default operate that way, and it's super inefficient and ineffective, as you've obviously realized that they're kind of two different processes, two different thinking processes. When you try to do the both, it's a multitasking event, which doesn't work well. If you can separate them, go, right, we know what we're doing for this week, for this month, for this quarter, and then just go and execute it. Much more effective and efficient.
Oh, definitely.
So effective.
Yeah, otherwise people end up just throwing things at the wall and hoping something sticks. And it's not, you want to actually be very strategic rather than reactive to what's happening.
Or as you say, try and do the strategy and the execution together. If they are actually implementing the strategy at the same time, it takes too much brain power constantly to do that. Whereas if you take that out, just put all the brain power into one session of brainstorming and strategizing, then, as you say, it's just rolling out the plan.
Because you're literally in a different state, right? When you're thinking you're thinking big picture, you're at 40,000 feet, you're thinking strategy, you're thinking tactics, not execution. And what am I doing? What's the technique? What are we doing today versus what are we doing over the next 6 months? Very, very different. But trying to do both at the same time is what a lot of people tend to do. Pretty decimating for performance. So take us back to pre-3 Ps, when you were individual Ps. What was the skill set between you? Did you have agency experience? Did you have marketing? Did you come from corporate? Where did this sort of percolate up from?
Cool.
Well, I guess my experience is, so I'm now in my 40s. I have 2 boys and a husband, live here on the Gold Coast and born and bred on the Gold Coast. From school, I took a year off and I thought I was going to be an accountant. So I worked.
She would have been a great accountant.
I worked for an accountant for 12 months before uni, and did an office traineeship, and worked out really quickly that I didn't like accounting, but I did like the business development manager's job, and that intrigued me. So I learned more about what she did and how she got her start in that role and what it entailed. And I switched my degree to marketing. So I did a Bachelor of Business, majored in marketing, and I also majored in human resource management. From there, I've basically had a corporate career in everything from media management and PR to destination marketing to sales and business development. And my most recent role that I left was in sales and business development. So working with business to business in corporate relationships. So that's where I was in that space. And I really loved the career that I had. And I guess I came to a point in time in my life where I wanted to do, I knew what I wanted to do, and I wanted to do marketing. And I kind of was, I guess, done with being dictated to by the organization I was working with as to what my role would entail. So
ready for some freedom.
Yeah, ready to call the shots.
For the entrepreneur's love.
Yeah, ready to call the shots and just do what I really love doing, and do it for a lot more people. Because working for just one organization was very limiting. But when you get to work with a lot of clients, I think it kind of, sometimes it can amplify the stress and the workload, but I find it actually amplifies the reward, because I just love seeing our clients achieve their goals, and I'm very invested in their success. So I love getting those warm and fuzzy feelings multiple times with all of our customers, all of our clients. So that's my background.
Yeah.
Me too, Elisha. So I'm the one in our business that's had 42 jobs. So I've tried everything there is possible, and it works really well for what we're doing, because a client will come in and I'll sit across from them and say, I know where you're going, I know where you've been. I've been in your shoes. So it's really great. I guess for me growing up, I just couldn't pinpoint what I wanted to do. But if I look back on all my careers, there's been an element of marketing in every one, but it's just never been that marketing role until my last role, where I was working when Kate plucked me out and said, let's do this instead. I was marketing manager there. So I had that confidence to come into a business doing it. So for me, it's a lot of experience, over time, and I loved working with all the different businesses, and now I get to do that every day, but doing what I love as well. So yeah.
And what she won't tell you, she's actually a licensed real estate agent and marriage celebrant, because she's literally done everything.
Well, there you go.
The business coach, right? Yes.
So it all
Full
works.
that's a full service offering right there.
Yeah,
Yes.
it really is.
It's not what she doesn't know.
You can sit here, get married, I can sell your house.
And coach.
Create your flyers, build your website.
Yeah. And my background was, since I was 18, I've been building websites and doing graphic design, and worked for myself for the last, how old am I now? Probably over 15 years, if I count back. So I was actually working as just for myself for the longest time, making websites. My previous business was all about winning. It was called Winning by Design, and I was all about winning in life and winning at business. So it was very much about not just creating ordinary websites, but beautiful, really powerful websites that actually worked. And so that was my passion and my thing, my superpower. And so these guys, I suppose, when they sort of thought about creating the agency that they wanted to create, it was like a natural addition to have web and graphic design as part of that. So that's my superpower, as well as doing things like copywriting and business development. So I'm a certified developer of enterprise, which basically means I write business plans. I've just had a lot of experience working with small business in that space.
Yeah. I love how that's all come together, that you said that you're talking, Kate, about that. You had that moment where you just decided that working for someone else just wasn't for you anymore. And for most of us that end up building an agency or starting our own businesses, it's a switch that once flipped doesn't go back the other way. As much as we might try it and go to various things, there's that necessity to have control and freedom, and sort of autonomy over your own life and direction, right? And once that's kind of on, it's like you can't fathom going back the other way. So that sounds like that's a common thread between the three of you as well, that there was just a friction point or a point that was sort of a catalyst where you went, well, something needs to change and here's an opportunity to lean in. So it sounds like it very much fortuitously or not sort of came together at the right time for all of you, which is very synchronistic and kismetic. I don't know if kismetic's a word, but it sounds nice. So
I like it.
It was a bit of a sliding doors moment. I think we were kind of all at the train station at the right time, ready to jump on. So
I got to tell you, working for yourself for over 15 years, it's great and you get the freedom, but it's so lonely. And I know a lot of people out there who do work by themselves will understand that. And so the opportunity to not have to do everything by myself and wear every hat was just too good to pass up. And the beauty of it is, I'm not great at everything. I'm really good at what I do, but I'm really bad at a lot of things. And so these guys just beautifully fit in with those things that I wasn't great at. And so being able to actually share that workload is amazing. So if you're out there and you're like, I'm really lonely and I'm really bad at some stuff, I highly advocate for business partners. It's great. As long as they're your besties.
So in our business planning process, we really mapped out what our skills and what our experience and what our loves were. And we knew what we would be doing and sort of who would be naturally doing what. But what we didn't factor on was what we would be doing sort of on our business. And that kind of evolved very naturally. So, and we've given them names. So we have Win P and we have Woo P and we have Wow P. So I'm Win P. So I do all the business development and all the sales. I also do other roles for the business as well, including accounts and payroll. But that's my kind of area, as well as some execution for our clients. But
step one, we win them, obviously.
And that's sort of my area.
Then I woo them. So I'm sort of project management, client relations, making sure they're happy, onboarding them, making
client gifts, birthday cards, events, Christmas gifts.
Giving them an amazing experience. That's why she's wow.
No, woo.
Oh, woo, sorry, woo. My bad.
And then wow.
I'm wow. That's right. So my job is to look at kids at the end of the day. So we wow them with the result that we create.
Awesome.
It's pretty well.
And they generally do say wow when we deliver.
Katrina is basically the creative director that has her eyes over everything and ensuring that our level of service delivery and level of
the result at the end of the day
is its very highest before anything is out. And that's how we combine working on the business. And it's kind of a really beautiful breakup, I guess, of every job that needs to be done. And we've got two amazing staff members that assist us in doing that.
There's a lot of really brilliant foundational fundamental principles stuff that you've spoken about just very naturally. So for the folks listening, there's a lot just that you've sort of naturally come together, that idea of identifying your zones of genius as partners and having very strict guides on, like, I'm going to do this because I'm great at it and I love it. I'm going to do this because I'm great at it and I love it. That's really important, particularly when you have multiple people at a senior position in a business. That can get kind of frictiony when there's, well, I'm the sales guy, but I'm the sales guy, but I'm the marketing, and I'm the ops guy, but I hate ops. And there's, that when there's friction or there's that lack of clarity, that can cause issues. But also from a personal perspective, for each of the individual owners as yourselves, you get to execute your passion, right? You get to do the thing that you love doing, and you can focus on it because you know all the other shit's getting done by somebody else that's passionate and great at that thing. So you're amplifying the business, but you're also amplifying your individual selves as well, right? So your passion, your motivation, all of that stuff sort of stacks together and sort of amplifies, because you're doing 100% of the thing that you love and next person's doing 100% of the thing that they love. And that's amplifying across the business rather than you kind of competing for space or having that lack of clarity. So that's really, really important. Again, I think that can kind of get missed or kind of gets kind of messy. And the fact that you, again, kind of came from a friendship perspective, I actually find that really interesting as well. They say, don't work with animals, kids, and probably had friends and family. Probably throw those all in the same bucket. But I found my agency with my best friends, so I understand. It can be great, and it can be amazing, and it can be not so amazing because you do have that personal relationship. Maybe talk us through that. As much as we want to celebrate the wins and the woo and the wow, that is a reality. Some days maybe you're not your best selves or you're not besties. Things can go wrong. There is friction in the business. Take us through that, just kind of to get an idea of the reality of this for people, right? Because it's not always incredible.
Yeah. Well, I think before this, we actually, because we had that experience of a couple of years working together, that was the good thing, is we kind of knew how we'd work together, and we went through some really tough stuff. So we saw what we were like under pressure. And I think that's what's important is, you really get to see who someone really is under pressure. So we already went into it knowing exactly how each other handled pressure.
And we weren't all perfect under pressure. No. Let's point that out.
But excuse me.
I think we had...
Not all of you.
No. I think we had an understanding and such a strong friendship and respect for each other. I think it comes down to respect. That at the end of the day, yes, things have gone wrong. Yes, we've had tense moments. But at the end of the day, we absolutely adore and respect each other. And so for us, it gets us through anything, right? We go, okay, we might be feeling frustrated, or we might, be really stressed. And we have been quite stressed because growth is stressful sometimes. But we come back to, I respect that we're in this together. We're all pulling in the same direction. We're just going through a tough time right now. So how do we work our way through this? And it's about communication, and just genuinely loving each other. Like, I genuinely love these girls, right? Like my sisters, and it's pretty rare to have that sort of a friendship as well in general, but to be able to have that in your besties and your business partners is pretty special. I think that's kind of our secret sauce, that we have that.
And I think the other thing too, because we've had such a short trajectory to success, we've had a lot of highs and lows very quickly all together. So we'd been through highs and lows on the P&C together and in our own personal lives, and supported one another. But to have it in a really close space of time was really quite tricky. And I think the thing, even looking back at those planning days that we did, and especially the first one we did in our first 3 months, we kind of sat down and we said, look, we've gone through a few things, and we kind of need to talk about how we're going to, handle those things better moving forward. And one thing we talked about was being vulnerable and really being open and sharing, because if we're not honest with each other and upfront about what's going on, either in the business or behind the business at home, then, the other two are kind of left in the dark and can't really help or support. And it's really tricky. So we talked about that vulnerability and just having a really honest and open space, but also really protected. What happens between the three of us stays between the three of us, because we're allowing each other to just say, this is what's happening and I just can't deal. Can you do this? And it'll be like, yep, no worries. So I think having those conversations, and also having that, I guess we do have that background friendship to have a lot of trust.
And it's allowing each other to have bad days too, and just going, it's fine, you can have your bad day today. We can't all three have one at the same time. That's not allowed, but it never works that way anyway. So it's okay if you need a day, or and really respecting each other in that respect. So.
And it also works on the other side of the coin as well, that beautiful amount of support is offered to you. I did a charity walk that was 35 kilometers, and these guys were, I couldn't be present for quite a few meetings because I was either on my way to that charity walk, or I was post-walk recovering for quite a few days. But they were just honestly so proud of me and so supportive that that's fine. It didn't matter. And instead of covering for me or making excuses, they said, look, our third P is out raising thousands of dollars for charity and walking 35 kilometers. And they were really proud of me and celebrated me. So, that support is given to you.
Regardless.
It's highs and lows. It works both ways.
Yeah. Love it. And so again, that trust, that vulnerability, that having we call it having a safe space, but having that genuine support and knowing that in your own ways, again, it comes to those laneways, right? You all know that you're contributing in your own thing. So if you need a few days off, it's not like, oh, hang on, she's taking 2 hours off and I'm working 2 hours extra today, and that's. But that level of thinking can happen with, particularly with agency owners. Sometimes they're like, well, I'm contributing more than this person, and there's that felt sense that, well, we're equal, but I'm doing more, and the equity's not quite there. But I think because you've built it a right way, and you've been very, very clear with expectations, you've set roles, you've set responsibilities. As long as that stuff's getting done, then you've got to go away for a bit, take some time off, do a thing, do a charity. That's fine. Everyone understands it. You just pick up the slack for a couple of days, and that means that when I need it, I'll get the same respect.
Absolutely.
So really important stuff for the sustainability of a senior team, and to maintain a friendship whilst running a business together.
Yeah.
Really cool stuff. I really like so your journey is very representative of the fact that you can really start anywhere and do a whole bunch of different things. You can do 42 jobs, or you can work by yourself, or you can work in corporate. You can try on different hats. You can do all this different stuff. And it's never too late to go, hang on, something about this doesn't feel right, and I want to step into my true self. I want to step into the thing that I want to do. I want that autonomy. I want that control. So say in your 40s, stepping into something new. For me, I stepped into coaching in my 40s. That's sort of a COVID. The last couple of years, I sort of stepped into something new, which was a passion thing. So I understand that you look back over your life and go, well, here's all this stuff I did. What's the similarity? What were the curiosities? What were the kind of commonalities? And then how do I turn that into something that is for me, that I have that autonomy and control over? So maybe to wrap the show, maybe talk us through that aspect of obviously being an all-female team, building a female-led agency, and that journey from doing a bunch of stuff to having that realization, and then stepping into that, I guess, your true self, or your true calling in a regard.
Yeah, look, I mean, for myself, I guess, I'm a bit of a mushy pea. So all my life wanting to help people in some way, and looking at all the things that I've done and knowing, okay, well, doing a business like this, I can help a lot of people. And we do. We have some amazing clients that really pull on the heartstrings, and it's an honor to be working with them and for them and helping them in a way that they just couldn't do without us. And so for me, I love that side of it.
The feeling like you've gone through 42 and finally landed where you need to.
And I am 42.
And one job a year since you've been born. So.
Started early. Okay.
Yeah, no, I definitely think for me, just, as I said, being a solopreneur for the longest time, and all the highs and lows of that, it just doesn't compare to this in terms of, being able to share the wins, right, and share the lows and share the load, and, all of that stuff. It just, I guess I didn't really, I've worked with my family before, would you believe, in a family business, and that didn't end out so well either. So I know the risks of partnership and how it can go wrong as well. But, knowing these girls, I guess it's got to be the right mix. It's got to be the right people, and you've got to have just true respect and love for each other. And that's, I just felt really safe with that. And so, I definitely feel like I've landed where I'm supposed to be. And it's, we just go from strength to strength. It's so exciting. So much.
Yeah. And it's interesting, being 3 female founders and being best friends, even though we knew our backgrounds and we were very confident in our skills and abilities, there was also a bit of a fear in the back of our minds of how seriously will we be taken as 3 women. However, we've found that that's actually our key selling point, is that people get 3 marketing experienced marketers to look over their business, to strategize, to execute, to analyze, and
3 is better than 1.
Yeah. So here's us thinking, how seriously are we going to be taken? 3, and we talked about all of our values and our fun and our business besties, and we're like, is it going to be a bit too cheesy? You know, we're 3Ps, we use pea puns.
A lot.
How seriously will we be taken? And it is literally, that fear is completely gone.
Most people love the puns. Only one client hasn't so far.
But he told us
Fire that client.
He knows who he is.
Yeah. But you still used a pea pun, and so did he.
Yeah.
So even though you don't really like it, there's something about
Secretly
it that
love it.
it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's a personality, and
It's
it
memorable too, which is marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can say it's authentic to you, and it represents your energy. It represents the feeling people are going to get when they work with you, right? And that's what great marketing is. That's what great positioning is. That's what a great brand is. Puns and all that kind of stuff work really well when that's just naturally who you are, and people get that from your website and they work with you and go, right, that gels. That expectation I had from a silly pun to these amazing people, right? It works. Something works about that. So it works because it works because it's your truth. It's authentic to you. Love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we love the part of our business too where we get to do philanthropy.
Oh, no. Philanthropy.
Philanthropy. I can't say it. And that was probably an element of our previous background where we weren't really able to have a lot of control and a lot of say in that space. But, we're really proud that every month we're able to donate to certain charities and to also not only just give monetary funds, but we've also been able to do pro bono work for not-for-profit organisations as well. And we're really proud of the fact that that's a part of, our core values and our business plan as well. And something that, I know when we sit down in a few weeks to do our next 3-month planning session, we'll talk about next year's goals in that space.
Yeah.
Not a lot of businesses that we worked with actually dedicated time or space in their business plan for that. But that's who we are.
Yeah.
Love it. If people do want to come and find out more about you, I'm trying to connect this with the pun, but if it comes, it comes. Probably. If people want to connect with you, find out about your philanthropy or any other P's about you, where are some of the best P laces for them to come and connect with you?
Great.
That was
epic.
We're proud.
Definitely, our website, 3ps.co, Facebook,
our social media,
Instagram.
We love reels. Check out our reels. We have a lot of fun.
It's /3Ps marketing. You can find us on most things.
Okay, awesome. And I'll drop all of those links in the show notes so you can go and connect with this wonderful group of Ps. Thank you so much. I'm definitely titling this 3Ps in a podcast. I think the title writes itself. I love it when that happens. Loved your energy, loved chatting, loved how you've structured your business, the time and dedication you've put in to actually planning things out properly and then executing and having regular strategy and separation, your journeys, all of that stuff. A lot of really good foundational, practical principle stuff for people that starting agencies, wondering why their agencies might have gone off track a bit. People considering, I'm a solopreneur, I want to bring in some more people into the agency, how that can work, what that might look like. Really, really good insights. Thank you so much for dropping by. Been amazing. Been awesome.
Thank you so much.
It's our
so much fun. It's our pleasure.
It's been unbelievable.
All the people.
Yeah, thanks so much for
thank you for having us, Chris. We really enjoyed it today.
My pleasure. No, my pleasure. Thank you. Kind of got it in there. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Been a super fun episode. Really enjoyed it. Heaps of insights for everyone listening at home. And until next time, see you on the next show.